Okay, welcome everybody to
Peace and
episode
blessing.
5 of Sundays. Apollo Hanzo. Welcome.
What up, Apollo?
So, here we
Apollo, I'm
are,
gonna need that Hanzo sword real quick. Custom.
episode 5, and we're
Episode
here to
5.
talk about what level are you here, finding your musical space. And there are varying degrees, whether it be just hanging out and making beats in your bedroom in your spare time for fun, or all the way to industry professional and just doing it.
Yeah.
But that's a wide spectrum of a lot of things in between here. So before we introduce I'm the one son here, I'm just going to go through right now and let you guys know that even though it may appear that on some levels I'm a professional, I'm not a professional like that, because otherwise circumstances would be different. I would say
True.
a pseudo-professional was once heavy in the industry, depending on which spectrum you land on there. But the question is, what are your goals? Where would you like to go? And to answer those questions, a lot of those answers come from knowing what level you're at, what you're trying to achieve. Trust. Welcome.
Trusto, peace, God.
Before we get into that, introduce our guest over here. I am the one son.
What's up, peoples? What's up? So, like my man Viral said, we are going to talk about the difference between the amateur league and the pro league. And where do you fit in between? And I will get into mine a little later, but we're going to concentrate on viral beats.
Well, not
For
to
this
focus
time.
on me.
Well, we're going to focus on what you're thinking about it right now. Like we'll say that, and then I'll offer some, some counterbalance to what you're saying. I may have some questions for you
I
too.
do got this cool hat. I do got these coffee mugs.
And
I
if you
do
guys
got
didn't
these
know,
CDs,
hey, and if you didn't know,
merchandising.
you guys can go to the store for Viral Beats and pick up some of that merch.
Yeah, it's on sale.
That was not a
still.
shameless plug.
The forever. So here we are, we're discussing this because we've had this discussion a lot with our friends, because we have a lot of friends here in this space, especially on YouTube. And we all have different goals in mind, and we all have different experience. We all have different stories to tell. And, I think a lot of where we're trying to fit in has to do with having this here conversation and discovering where you're at musically on a professional scale. Where do you land on the spectrum? Do you even want to go professional?
Are you even on the scale?
Yeah, and that's the
You
thing.
know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of you guys here, and we understand our friends over here that are just getting started.
Right.
That are just a year in, a couple years in. But they're also people like me that are like, 20, 30 years. There's like son, there's like, 30, 40 years.
You didn't have to really put my name.
He was there for the
keep
birth.
Keep my musical wife out your mouth, Viral.
Tyrone Sellers. Welcome.
Tyrone in the house.
And so we got a pretty awesome spectrum right now just in the chat between Apollo, Trusto, and Tyrone over here, just between the differences. So if you take their differences and then you add our differences, Yeah, it's such a varying
Yeah.
degree, and I've never taken it all the way up there on that
I
all the
don't
way
know,
up and
man.
running in the industry. I was up and running in the underground, but I never have seen a stage more than 3,000 people, I would say. And that's being generous. I would say not even that. I would say probably about 2,600 is probably the max stage I've ever performed in front of. So,
Yeah, I
it's
won't lie. I was on a big stage a couple of times, and the first time I was on a really big stage, I'm not gonna say where. I'm just gonna say it was in Texas,
nice.
right? And it was at a school, and it was a big school, and I was one of the opening acts, and I froze, dog.
Oh,
I mean, yo, I'll talk about it was like Dr. Freeze kind of froze.
how old were you?
I mean, I recovered, but I'm just saying, like, I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
I had never seen that many people before.
How many people were there? I mean,
Oh,
like small stadiums worth.
it was probably 36,000
Oof.
at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
enough to
I was
get you,
yeah, I
especially if you
was
ain't used to seeing that.
yeah, I was mesmerized. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
my DJ was looking at me like, like you gonna do something? I was like, hey, what am I even doing here?
Did he pick up the slack and go,
like,
okay, here we go. It's up
I'm
to
like,
me
oh
to
shit.
save the show.
Oh shit, this is for real. I'm like, it's not rehearsal.
Aces, strike. Welcome. So yeah,
What's up, Ace?
yeah, that is a crazy story. I've never, luckily, I've never frozen up like that. I've had some issues on the stage before, like the Wu Tang thing, but that was their fault more than ours as far as the performance go. And it was also the venue's fault because they kicked everybody out and then brought them back in to make sure they had the right count for
Oh,
fire
word.
code. So, and they were
Yeah, I've
late,
seen that
everything was
happen before.
backed up, and it was like, really pissed off crowds, like really eager, and then we come on and they're like, what the hell? And we kind of anticipated something like that happening, but yeah, nothing really like that. Phew. Yeah, that's a rough one for sure. But yeah,
Yeah, I didn't live that down very well amongst the crew, man.
oh, for
People,
sure, yeah.
they gave me shit for years after that. It
Yeah,
was amazing.
especially at that age too. You get
Yeah,
you
oh
get
yeah.
clowned in
Forget it. You're done.
that.
You like it. You're done. You're cooked.
I
You
think
know.
uh, I think what gave me the luxury of being comfortable in large crowds on stage of a medium-sized venue, with 1,000 or more, was the fact that when I was younger in the battle rap circuit, it was always these large crowds. I mean, a couple hundred people at a time, and it was always me, the younger kid, and then 21-year-olds, 23-year-olds. Everybody's trying to get their bars out. I was
Right.
lucky to even get a mic most of the time, but I held my own every time I got that luxury, that privilege of having a mic. I,
Yeah.
I, I did my thing, you know what I mean? And I got my personal accolades from that, and then people giving me dap and stuff like that. Didn't
Yeah.
go anywhere, I'm over here thinking, hey, if I bust a rap over here and do
Hey, that's still
the
dope though,
MC
man. I
thing,
mean,
I'm gonna go out there.
you know what I'm saying though. Every moment we get, it's a dope moment though. Hey, we got some more.
For sure.
We got some
For
more guests
sure.
in the house too. Check it out.
DMG. Welcome.
The D, the M, the G is in the house. What's up,
Yeah.
man?
So, the question about what your level is kind of like where you sit currently, because everybody has their story,
Right.
but everybody's still telling their story.
All right. So I got
Because
a question for you then.
okay,
Okay.
all right,
Got to cut you off because I got to ask
no,
you a
it's all
question.
good.
So, you know, for the peoples, okay, try to go back to your earliest memory in terms of like when, like obviously music It grabbed a hold of you, obviously, at an early age. You found out that you had talent at an early age. But when did or had did it ever occur to you, or did you ever think to yourself like, hey, I want to be up there with the top rappers. Like I want to be up there with, my guy, Redman. I want to be at that level. I want to have that level of success. I want to be touring around the world. Did you have those kind of visions or dreams or aspirations at any point?
I think I had delusions when I first wrote my first rap at 13, like, yo, I'm gonna get paid,
Mm,
and I was thinking the way that we thought in that generation that I'm gonna get a deal, someone's gonna discover me and put me on, and then I'll be able to really get my music made the way that I need to
hmm.
get it made. Um, but it just don't work like that, and it
Right,
never
right.
did.
But I mean, you were
um,
you were you were a kid, obviously. Like I said, you had it was a child's dream that you
and
wanted to
it
make
was
come
my
real.
first bars, so I was like, I got these
Yeah, you like, ooh,
bars. I got
ooh.
these bars
You like
here.
you. Not only did you say you had bars, my man was like, I got 13-year-old bars. What's up with
George,
it?
George, welcome, 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 welcome.
George to the G's.
Yeah,
Yo, man, what's
I
up?
the thing is though is that I was already at that point when I was started to write music, like
Right.
write bars and stuff like that. I was already in the pocket with the porch rapping and the battle
Yeah.
rapping, and it was around that time to where I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna practice, and it didn't work out the way that I
Hmm.
planned. What happened was I
Never
didn't
does.
remember anything, and then it was just like a line or two here, and then it was just half freestyle, half this, and I was like, oh wait a minute, and I realized that I just added to my vocabulary, and I had more words in my arsenal, so I just dipped to those words and started
Yeah.
doing freestyle mixtapes because I just couldn't do it. But then I thought, like, hey, I had no desire to make my own beats, even though I wanted my own production, I wanted somebody to produce me, I wanted somebody to develop me. But at the same time, I was respectful of the process, but I wasn't respectful of the time that it takes to get through the process. I just, hey, I got these bars, let's go, and I
Right.
hit the
Right.
ground running, and that's the thing with hip hop and being in the '90s battle rap circuit. It's relentless, so like you kind of
Yeah.
have to just, okay, let's go. I mean,
It's interesting what you're saying. Because mine was the opposite, right? So I was a pretty, I guess you could say I was a kind of a shy kid because like I actually knew I could rap, right? Like I knew I could write rhymes and I knew I could rap, but I didn't really want to. It was more my brother because he was a pretty famous DJ at the time. Before he passed me, my brother rest in peace. But he's the one that pushed me in front of the microphone. Like to pick up the mic and actually rap at his show. And I was more interested in DJing, scratch battles, finding perfect, break beats and, looping them and all that stuff. And I actually wanted to more do, beat production and stuff when I was young, right? But it was like, my brother was like, hey, you know what? You got some cool lyrics and you know how to deliver them because he would hear me around the house doing it like when I'm making like music with him or whatever. Like, well, let me correct myself. My older brother didn't really let me make music with him. He let me fuck with his equipment when he wasn't around. So
for
I
sure,
was making my own music.
for sure.
He was like, "You ain't fucking up my sound," right? So it's kind of funny. It's a little bit the opposite. Like I was a little bit actually more trepidatious about rhyming. You want to get out there and go for it.
Yeah,
And
well,
yeah,
I mean, the thing is like it was kind of like it was weird because like I wanted to get out the hood, but I didn't live in the hood. I just went to go visit from time to time.
Oh, word! I heard
I
that.
wanted to live.
um,
I just wanted to
hey,
live better than
did
how I
y'all
was living.
hear that? He old viral decided he wanted to come to the hood and
Yeah,
start
I'm like, yo,
slumming with us
I
a
need
little
to.
bit.
I'm like, yo, I need to get out the
Is
hood.
that
I'm
how it
like, wait a
is?
minute, I don't live in the hood.
You had to step down. Like, yeah,
But that's where I got my rhyming chops from, that's when I started
absolutely.
rapping on the porch, for fun,
Yeah.
just with 40s and stuff, you know what I mean, just hanging out. Hold on, let me see what's up. The Albanian Syndicate. Welcome.
So I got a question for that Albanian syndicate. Um, because you're the Albanian syndicate, does that mean you're like more than one person? Is there like a group of you? It's I'm just curious, actually,
It's just
because that's like a pluralized kind of thing, you know.
yeah.
He's like a whole syndicate. So
He
okay,
said he's just
oh, so
no, because I just, the funny thing is, like, I never considered it until now when you just said something. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
man, man, hey, did you see? Look at culture of ghosts. His greeting. He said hi, viral, and everyone. He didn't even say what's up to son. Yo, you know what? That's some wild, real internet shit. That's some
and your
internet
name's
shit.
on the show.
No, that's it's some internet shit though, for real. Like that's when you know somebody's like, I don't know that motherfucker.
This is my channel, motherfucker. This is
Oh
my
man, hey
world,
yo.
my world.
So, culture of ghosts. Like, let's make the official introduction. I am the one son. And yo, nice to meet you, brother. Oh, Ace over here rolling. Look, he still said hi to everybody else. No. Oh man, this is great. I love it, man. Yeah, so go ahead. You was in there. You came to the hood. You was
Well,
rapping
the
in the
thing
hood.
is, you know, there was a reason why I was hanging out in the hood. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I was there just to try to hang out with the cool people. It just, my friends live there. And it just
Yeah,
that's where
yeah.
I
I
had to
mean,
go to see my friends. It's just
that's happening where they live. You
yeah,
know.
and but the thing is, Phoenix is just so wide and spread out. It's just it's weird, but yeah, there you go. The whole thing.
Culture goes. My brother.
But the whole point to that is that I didn't have any direction into my future goals. I didn't ever consider, and then what? Because I had already known at that point, like, hey,
That right there.
but I knew at 8 years
That was me.
old when I was listening to Young MC and LL Cool J and stuff, like, I knew, like, oh, I'm gonna rap. This is my thing. Like, I'm gonna do. I always
Yeah.
picture myself on the stage, collecting. So like I had a
So you
lot
had
of
the ambition, though. I'm saying you had the ambition
yeah,
to
yeah.
rise high,
I
but
kind
you
of
didn't
had
necessarily have a plan.
the thing is, I had the foreshadowing to understand, yo, this is what I'm going to do. It wasn't just that I'm going to do music. I always thought or had a feeling that I was going to do music at some
Right.
capacity. It was just at that point when I was like, oh, I'm going to do hip hop music. And it
Right.
wasn't just I'm going to do hip hop music. It was I'm going to do this type of hip hop music. I'm going to do so, like, already having that in the back of my head. I was already kind of trying to work my way through what my style was going to be, how to not be listening to Vanilla Ice and stuff like that. And then I also didn't understand. It's like what we were talking about the last stream about the
Hey,
cultural significance, and
and
when I was wearing the medallions
just
and stuff like that.
one interruption. You got the medallion. We're gonna stay at
No,
the
it's all
medallion.
good.
All right, but one interruption. Like, man, don't make fun of man, Mr. Van Winkle, man. Okay, first of all, okay, so stop that. Okay, because shout out Vanilla Ice and
But
Yo, collab with me and Viral.
This is the thing, though. I just saw it as the same thing that Capitol Records was trying to collect twice on the same type of thing because he was doing everything that Hammer was doing as far as dancing. They put him in the exact same
Category
wardrobes and stuff like that.
Entertainer kind of thing.
And flooded the zone on the YoMTV Raps cards. If you go back to YoMTV Raps cards, if you get yourself a whole box of all the season flooded with majority Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer. I mean, there's a lot of LL Cool J and Public Enemy and stuff like that, the standard and stuff like that. But there's the majority Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer because at
they
that
needed
time
commercial
they were
music. Because that was think
Capitol
about it at the
Records,
time well, think about it with Yo MTV Raps, right? With the whole music industry at that time, like one of the biggest goals that the companies had, because remember, a lot of these, well, almost all the companies were run by white executives at that time anyway.
For sure.
Right? So they didn't understand the music, for one. Number two, they didn't like the music. They knew they could make a lot of money off it, but then they also had a strategy. They said, well, how do we commercialize it?
And that was also one of the first times.
Because they needed to be more far-reaching. So
the first time, especially, somebody from Oakland turned them down to continue selling records on the street. Was like, yo,
Too Short.
Hammer.
Hammer, but Too Short too. Too Short really. I look at Short Dog as, and by the way, shout out to you, Too Short, man. I hope everything's cool with you, and I believe you are still in Atlanta, bro. So shout out to you and to Eric Sermon. So yeah, go ahead, man. So yeah, I think he definitely changed that model, and Short Dog really, he was selling tapes out of his trunk.
Yeah.
In Oakland, and I remember that. I remember seeing him on the block like that.
That was the thing
East
to
Oakland,
do, and
California.
hustle the way that it was, and Hammer was making so much off of those records because he would go in the club with his dancers, and just
without any question,
dance like crazy. And when they approached
don't hurt him, Hammer.
Yeah, please.
And shout out to you, Hammer, too, because did I tell you that story, Viral? I might have told you a long time ago. My brother and I were visiting someone in the hospital, and Hammer was on the elevator. It was in Oakland. He was on the elevator. It was crazy. Yeah, he looked good, man. Everybody said, he had money. He was broke. Now Hammer, everybody just want to know, Hammer, he ain't broke, man. Tell you that right now. That man, that brother is not broke.
I wish one of these days, one of these years, no matter when it is, that we would see that Pac Hammer album surface. I know that the estate doesn't want it to go on. Let me see what's up.
Word.
Renaissance. Welcome.
Renaissance, man. That's kind of a dope way that you spell that.
Yeah.
Oh, who's in here now?
Now it's Pagvoop now.
Pagvoop. Yo, I just didn't hear. I didn't hear when you said it. That's all. I was just trying to.
Yeah.
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 But yeah. Definitely, George. Shout out to David Bowie, man. He's definitely one of my favorite artists. But yeah, he did, man. He was not.
Yeah.
Feeling a lot of that,
because there was a whole culture before MTV started, and when MTV came about, especially those first 3 to 5 years, it was very, very Caucasian, and there was a lot of really good music during the time, because I was a little baby, you know what I mean? I was listening to that stuff, and it was just it was crazy to realize, because I didn't realize until later on that MTV didn't play any of that stuff. They played the Yes and stuff like that, and
you're not lying.
But they didn't play a lot of the really solid music that existed
no, man,
during that
just call
time.
it what it is. They didn't play black music.
They
really
didn't play
that
black
much.
music. There were no black faces there.
That's all it is, man. I mean, let's just call
I didn't mean to seem like I was sugarcoating or anything like that. I was thinking more along the lines of the music of everything, because there's just so much music that was overlooked because of that racial component of the way that it looked at the beginning. So
you see who's up in here?
DL. Welcome.
On the D to the L.
So
What's
yeah,
up? What's up?
we have ourselves a nice little mix of people here as far as
Eclectic.
types of professionalism and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. So
So let's do a little poll then. Hey, and everybody, I'm asking you very kindly, dear folks that is in the chat, if you can go ahead and type in there, like, where do you feel like you're at in the music game? Do you consider yourself, not on the scale, meaning that you're not even considering yourself an amateur, you just mess around? Are
yeah,
you amateur level? Are you a serious kind of, prosumer type of person that, works in the business? Or are you really, headed toward, or are you already a professional in the music industry?
I think the best way to break it up into categories would be: are you a producer? Are you an artist? Do you
Yeah,
consider
whatever
yourself a
you do, but where are
professional?
you at? Yeah, are you
Yeah,
amateur,
like are
semi-pro,
you
or
like
pro?
what do you want to do or see as yourself of what you currently do in music? Let's get to the nitty gritty here. Let's see what our audience
All
is
right. Do
doing
you
here and
see?
see.
You see what DL said? Is that
Beginner.
true? You know DL better, way better than me. Is that true?
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is that I see him out here really learning from the professionals.
Right,
I
right.
see him
That's good.
every so
That's real
often.
good.
EA skis. I see him Tony Black, and I see him out here, and even over here quite often, and asking questions to help along the way with the level of making music and professionalism, understanding who knows what and where, and that's the best you could do when you're learning as a beginner is to ask questions.
Yeah,
Ask
yeah.
questions from the people that know
I
what they know and understand
well,
what level that they're at
if
and
I'm
what they
being real
know.
though, like, look, even though I've done music for a really long time, so guys, you guys know I'm one of the ancient ones in terms of my actual age. However, I have been messing with music since I was like maybe 8 years old. So,
That's when it
you
happens.
know, and but but even with that being said, right? With that being said, that doesn't mean jack diddly shit. Okay, what it means is that until you get serious, right, and you have intention behind whatever you're focused on, that's when your true development begins, right? So one of the things that I'll say is that even now at this age, I still will go to Viral. I have questions for him about mixing, mastering, things like that. I mean, I don't need anybody to teach me how to use an MPC or, make beats or anything like that. I do that in my sleep, right? But the thing about it is that even with that being said, if I have opportunity to sit with someone who is skillful at chopping samples, for instance, I'm going to sit down and try to learn everything I can from what techniques they use because maybe I overlook something. You know what I mean? And it
For
doesn't,
sure.
because it never means that you perfect your game. You should always be trying to improve. You should always be trying to learn from somebody, something, right?
For
And
sure.
at least that's my opinion. I mean, you don't have to agree, but that's my opinion.
I'm good. I'm good. 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 Air spider. Top
Oh,
top
snap.
sellers.
Air Spider, man, where do I know you from,
Tupac.
man? I know Air Spider from somewhere else, man. I'm telling you. I don't know why, man, but I just got this feeling.
Yeah,
I know
Air
this
Spider's
dude.
been in the chat in the channel since we go live
Nah,
since
I
the
don't mean in
beginning.
the channel. I just know
Uh,
it's gonna come to me, man, later. Watch.
appreciate you,
It,
Tyrone, on the back end for sure. Huge supporter of the channel. Let's go through here and see because we got
do a breakdown of who's in here real quick.
so we got Amateur Night at the Apollos is what Apollo Hanzo says.
He said I'm an expert when it comes
I
to music.
I love that.
Apollo, I
Let me
love it,
scroll
man.
up with here instead of doing it on my OBS. George says producer / beat maker
Yeah.
engineer.
And he said
Trusto
he's
says
starting over too. You said starting all over again here, going to use all the connections I have in the music.
Okay.
Yeah, hey George, look, man, me and you really do need to get together because I got folks in New York too, who you might be able to, holler at if you're really trying to take it there. Um, me, I'm not interested in that anymore for my life, but because I'm too busy just messing around and having fun, y'all. I'm be honest with y'all.
Yo, check out Pag Vu. It's so hard to say these new names, god damn it, because you just stick with the fucking name.
I know, right? Like,
Okay, all right,
hey,
so
but
look at
two Papa is in here too.
he
What's
says
up, man?
he says
I'm your daddy.
semi pro technician, but a talented amateur artist and a novelty collector.
Man. Now, see, look,
I love that.
I don't even know your ethnicity, but you said that like a fine European English white man that wears a nice suit.
Okay,
All right.
let's see. Who else we got over here? Okay, starting over. Okay, so yeah, varying degrees
Yeah,
as most of
exactly.
us are aware, and
Hey, is Trusto still in here? Trusto, you
yeah,
still in here, dog?
Trust is still in here. I think so.
Yo, Trusto, man, I saw your comment like earlier in the chat, and man, I gotta tell you, man, see, I figured out where I belong in music, y'all, and yo, I'm ODB, man. There's literally no father to my style, so you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's it. I am the one son. I don't know. And literally, that's a literal statement. That's not like a brag or anything. I'm like literally the one son. Like, there's nobody else because my shit is just so weird, man. Like, I don't know the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, and in all fairness, I am the one son is the first I am name person that I've ever met before.
Damn, that's
'Cause,
that
there's
5%er
I
in
am
me,
this, I
man. It
am
never
that, I
left.
am this, I am that. Yep, I am the one son, the first one.
Yeah, yeah. DL said he driving right now. DL, man, you're
So,
supposed to keep that on the
so
DL.
artistic achievements and all that other stuff aside, um, as far as like what you're attempting to achieve,
Yeah.
like
What are you doing?
professionally or musically, really, like, hold on, one more. The crazy, wabbit. Welcome.
I think I saw a crazy rabbit. What up, crazy rabbit?
So the spectrum's pretty wide over here, and not everybody wants to take it. And as a matter of fact, I would dare to say that most people don't want to take it to that high level, to that stadium performing on a regular basis type of thing, like stadium
Yeah.
tour, top of the food chain, and stuff like that. Most people don't want to exist within that space. And I would venture off to say that most people don't want to exist within the space underneath there, because underneath
Yeah.
there is where the producers tell you what to do, and they tell you how to dress and what to do, and then your budgets are allocated and spent already,
Mm-hmm.
and everything you have to maintain a certain level to be able to create or whatever. Most people don't want to exist there, but there is underneath there the level of professionalism that's kind of you control your own destiny type. But that's even a step away, because most of those people are industry
Yeah.
professionals, like
And you
in
gotta keep that in mind too. Like that's just the name of the game, right? That's the nature of the beast, right?
yeah,
You work for, when you sign a record deal, you work for a company.
for
So
sure.
you're producing a product for a company. You're not producing music for yourself anymore. Not really. You're producing music to be commercially viable. You're you're creating music. You're creating your art. Hopefully, you get to retain some of your artistic, chops in your work, right? And people see that shine through. But most of the time, you got to keep in mind that once you sign, you become an employee of that corporation or that company, and you kind of got to play ball to or to the tune of what they want. And George, real quick, I see your comment, bro. And yo, shout out to my man King Son out there, man. Love you, brother. So yeah,
Or
that dude he's top notch, man.
TLC.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I mean,
Welcome,
go ahead.
welcome.
Who's in here?
TLC music.
Oh man, dude, like I would have butchered that. That for real.
Yeah, and even the way that I
like it. I like it. Like it.
And a couple of people say it different ways, but I think most of us have it down.
Well, I mean, I'm just I'm a pretty honest type of simple son of a bitch, so yeah, you know what I mean?
For sure. No, I guess
a very uncomplicated kind of person.
Why share your goals if people aren't going to help you accomplish it or work against you? Well, I mean, there's something to be said about that
yes
too,
and
because
no,
there's a level of secrecy that and the level of not sharing. Like you don't want to overshare what you're working on behind the scenes if you're waiting to show that. See, I guess that speaks straight to the heart of the complexity of the issue going from artist to professional, because either way you have to consider the right timing to expose and express your work. So like
very true.
You have to calculate very strategically on how you're going to do that. So you're right. You don't want to overshare. You don't want to share everything. Like I'm not
people
sharing.
Will steal your shit.
Well, the thing is that even with copyright and being the who could prove it first or whatever, with the digital copyright and stuff like that, still like there's a reason why I'm not showing the mixing process of what I'm going through here when I'm working on the single, because I'm putting the single out with a video, and the video is going to be a premiere, and the premiere is the piece of work. So I'm not going to show all my work leading up to the piece until after that piece is exposed. So you're damn right I'm going to keep that under wraps, when it comes down to
certain things close to your chest, man, because I mean, it's really weird too. Like I know a couple of artists that, and guys, I mean, give me your take on what y'all think about this. But I actually know a couple of artists. They had like these, it was like these events where people would come and compete, and there'd be like guys who are already in the game, who are pros, and they'd see these people come in and compete, and they would do their material or whatever. And I actually know a couple of these artists. They're not friends. Don't get me wrong when I say know them. I'm talking about like I've encountered them multiple times for different musical interactions. I'll say it like that. And I know of one or two that actually stole entire songs from people. And I'm talking about every bar, and made a hit record.
There's
it's dirty, man. That's
dirty. There's a whole subgenre of people out there that exist for the sole purpose of doing that, for stealing the work and republishing it. Tyrone just expressed here the what they called the poor man's copyright, and I used to do that too. When I make a beat, I would just have to mail it to myself and put it up on the side. That way it is post-dated. And we used to do that with albums too, with full albums. You would do that to yourself because just the time it would take to do the copyright, which usually doesn't take much time at all. The copyright's only $40.
BMI,
really, and if you're registered, like
ASCAP it, BMI it.
So things are a lot different now, and especially with what I was saying with the digital copyright and things existing here first. If you're working on anything like on the platform digitally, like on YouTube or whatever, you could prove, hey, I did it that stream that time. Can you prove that you did it earlier than then? Nope, you can't. Okay, the guy with the stream gets it, and it really is about who can prove who did it first. So Ali Star. Welcome. So more diversity in this
Scotty.
conversation. Scott has this spaceship
Shit,
surrounded his workflow. So
Scotty lives on the Enterprise for real, like the USS Enterprise, without any question. That shit looks ridiculous, y'all.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it takes a while to get up to the point to where you're actually in a space like that, and you know, what I've come to learn is that a lot of people that are in a space like that aren't in a space that like wants to,
Hmm.
churn out music for the professional crowd. They have their own people to do one thing or another. I mean, everybody's got work, and most of it is done side work. Most of the business in music is side work to begin
Yeah,
with.
yeah, it's true.
You're
Like,
hustling, you're doing side hustles all the way through.
and I'll give them a good example. So like on the MPC, I would say I'm fairly nice with what I do on it. And so like people I don't have like a lot of like credits on records and things like that. But what will happen is somebody will call me and say, "Hey, yo, son, this producer we had, he chopped these samples. We not feeling it. It just we like the sample itself, the original sample, but we not feeling how this dude chopped it up and tried to put it to these beats or whatever. Get called in. I mean, I'll carry my MPC with me. I'll get their sample. I'll sit there 2 hours, whatever, chop all the samples up differently, and leave with like a couple of $1,000, whatever. And I don't get no credit on the record, and I don't really care though. Like to be honest with you, me, I don't care. Like I'm like first of all, I don't own the original sample or the original song. That's one. Number two, I'm just having fun. So if somebody want to give me like $1,500 to $2,000 to chop some samples up for them and give me a check and I can walk out, guys, I'm taking the money and I'm bouncing because I got a
for
career,
sure.
so I'm good.
For sure. And if you do
But
that
it's
with
nice, side hustle money. So
yeah, and see, and that's the thing. One of the things that took so long for me to put together my last album as an artist is because I thought I had moved on as an artist and was just going to produce my way into the sunset. So I
you
was
better not be one of those punch drunk boxers, man, who already had his prime and shit, and then you don't know when to get out the ring. You better not be one of those guys. I'm expecting a hit record,
no,
man. You better
yeah.
let's go, son.
See,
Let's
that's the
go.
thing.
Let's get
Like,
it, kid.
what I've learned through that is accumulated skill. It means something if you still
Hmm.
exist within the musical space. So
It
you can't
does.
just sit on what you know and just be like, okay, one of these days I'm going to use it on, somebody if I meet the right person. Well, I am the right person because I used to exist as an artist. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's this used to shit? When it comes down
Right.
to,
Right.
the production element though, I was really happy with just doing the work and servicing clients, making beats, selling beats, and doing things on. It was a
So
fine living. I mean, it wasn't enough, but
question time for you though, sir.
okay,
So one statement first. So when you say like used to, I agree with that language. I say formally, number one. I say formally because I do realize that I'm like an anachronism in this game now, right? For myself,
yeah.
I'm okay with that. But for you, what would you say? Like, what was probably your best monetary success that you had as a professional?
It's hard to say because it was doing everything at the same time. It
Right.
was it was a time period to where I was going to college. I was getting full Pell Grants, so my college was paid for. I didn't have to
Shout out
work
Pell
for
Grants,
it.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
I used those bad boys one time too.
I took out student loans because I was able to get the max that I wouldn't have to pay back for some time after
Peace
my
out, Trusto.
education. So that would cover my bills, my living expenses. I did an internship at the recording
Hmm.
studio. I did the live sound on the weekends in the club. And then I was performing on a regular basis, so I was selling tickets, doing shows at the Marquee
Yeah.
just about every month. So
Man, shout out
I,
to the Marquee. That place is still open, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, yeah, man. I haven't been there in forever, dude.
the pay structure there was $1 per ticket per hundred, and then two for
Yeah.
200, and then three for 300, and so on and so forth. And we usually pull in between 150 and 300 per show. And then we'd have our own independent gigs that we'd do on the smaller venues like the Sets and the Clubhouse and other like 4 to 600 people capacity venues like
Right.
the size of like our old venue. And yeah, it was doing all those things. Oh, and also I was, selling albums because, I was in school when I'd finished Developed Species, and I was in school, when I did my record release party. So I was eating off of that because doing the shows, I had an album to put on the merch table. So, like,
So do you think you did, fairly good dollar amount that year, or what's like, I
oh,
mean, because like
yeah,
that's a big part of what, like especially everybody who's in the zeitgeist, they want to kind of hear a little bit about the numbers or whatever.
take care, trust
And
fund.
it's not a brag or anything. It's just more like, just the curiosity, what could I potentially make? They're thinking. Because like often, this is true. Like when you are up on stage, right? And you're performing, most of the people that are watching you from the audience, uh, at least an eighth of those people actually want to be on stage doing what you do,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah,
there's
and,
that.
and and I get that because you meet those people at the end of the show or during the show. They'll come up to you or whatever,
And they got a
come see you
mixtape
at
in
the
hand.
merch counter or whatever. And that was one thing that made us really successful in ticket sales and stuff like that because we developed relationships with a lot of the other openers and the other artists there, the
Right.
ones who could actually hustle their own music, who actually gave a shit, about putting the best effort forward, and there was something to be said about that. So
I
those
agree.
guys,
I agree.
always got to do what they needed to do, so long as they were on point, and that was kind of what our stipulation was. I would say it was a weird time because when I started college, I was fresh off tour and then moved in with my dad at my dad's house, one of the few times that I lived over there in my adult life.
Yeah.
So, and I moved out in the second semester that I was there. I could have stayed there as long as I needed to or whatever. When I was going to college, I had just been moving forward and, was building my shop and everything like that. So, but I never really made any real money during that time, even though I made the most money that I ever made. It wasn't all structured. I didn't have an accountant
Right.
or anything like that. It was just me doing these jobs, allocating things where they needed to go at the time. And when you got kid to take care of and bills to pay and shitty business partners and stuff that goes sideways, yeah, one thing
Yeah.
could topple the whole shit, and that's the thing about it though, like even then existing on a professional level, I knew the limitations in my professional reach because I wasn't an industry professional. I
Right.
was an
Right.
industry
And
professional
so
in
I'm
certain
gonna I'm gonna
elements
I'm
when
gonna
I
give
had different
I'm gonna give
hats
them
on.
real yeah, I'm gonna give them real quick a just guys like so me as a back in the day, way back in the day as a semi-pro on tour, um, I made after taxes $36,000, $678 and I think like 31 cents or something like that. And that's the most money I've ever made in
Got
music.
it sound to the desperate.
I I mean
You're
seriously,
like,
like
I
I've never
remember the
made
tax at the
that.
end of
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember.
the
Like I have never made more money than that in
Take
the
care,
music industry.
Scott.
Like, and that was like kind of like a realistic, eye-opening experience for me because the thing is like you go to stores and I can tell you You know, the crazy part is that people will get these opportunities to go on tour and they start trying to live like the headliner. And like my little crew that I had, I made everybody go to the hotel and we were eating like sub sandwiches that we would buy from a local place, and we all went to the hotel to the same room. You know, we would share rooms. You know what I mean? Like we like,
Yeah,
you know, we
yeah,
would get like extra like cots and stuff like that and
yeah,
put them on the floor. And I made everybody, we'd all stay in one room.
for sure.
Like, so there was like five of us and we were all in the same room, and they hated it, right? But because, you know, we're not headliners, we're, you know, these guys are going out and getting like fancy dinners. There was just like they had, and you know, you know, there were, because I want to be cool on the channel about what I say, but so they had um female entertainment that would stop by that had less clothing on than other people. And so they you know, they had those kind of things going on.
Smooth.
And you know, and they were having a full, you know, good time. Why? Because they had so much money. Like these guys that we were on tour with, they already were rich.
Yeah,
Like we didn't have a dime. We were broke. So like I made everybody just stay because there were guys coming back home and they were getting checks from like the record company, from like, the tour manager would hand out these checks or whatever at the end of it, and these guys were getting like $200. And you know, my crew, we got almost the full amount that we were promised because we
yeah,
didn't spend no money.
yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
and
There's
it
some.
wasn't like they got a lot. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't like it was a lot. You know, these guys would end up getting like a check for like $4,000 or $5,000, but that's because we didn't accrue any additional costs. Like we didn't rely on the record
Yeah,
company trying to pay for our food, and they tried to sucker us into getting all that stuff too. And we were
yeah,
not.
yeah, for sure. And that's what they do. They're like, "Yo, we're gonna get you a limo, have you take you to the venue.
Yeah,
We're gonna have this
big
rider that's
mistake.
gonna include this, that, and the other." And you know, if you already know what you need as an artist, coming into it, it's definitely a lot easier. You know, but that's the thing about it, which way are you going to exist? You're going to exist as an artist, and you got to know at that level, especially, the value in renting a car and driving yourself, or
Yeah,
taking the van while they're
facts.
in the bus.
Facts, man. You know, like, yeah,
Yeah.
just, and then don't be trying to go out and try to flash with the star. Like, if, they talk about, oh, yo, we're gonna go hit up the mall real quick. And I mean, these dudes would go buy up half the store, man. And you sitting there thinking, oh, you can buy up the store with them. Nah,
I ain't pulling those ticket
yeah,
sales. You ain't
don't do
selling
that.
merchandise like
Yeah,
that.
don't do that. I mean, there were guys that would be able to go to these stores, man. These people were handing them stuff for free, man. They were just like, don't even worry about it.
So while we're on the touring conversation over here, that's assuming as like an artist, and as an artist, a lot of people here, on the YouTube space are existing as producers and like
Correct,
producing,
correct.
like the two things are kind of one and the same, you know what I mean? They're producing their artistry, they're making beats, you know, um some people are singing over them, some people are doing one thing or another. Like me, I'm just taking everything and doing everything because, I learned it a while ago and it just makes sense because it's just me here, you know.
Right, exactly. We gotta,
But
work
not
with what we got.
that's
So
the thing. Not everybody has the luxury of having developed relationships over the years and understanding certain things from the knowledge that, we've accumulated through this business of doing certain things like what you were just saying about the monetary value of proper decision making while you're on tour.
yeah,
You know,
that's it's a big one, guys.
like when you get to this space over here, like a lot of people they get, when they finally get to a CD, like they
Hey,
don't know
hold
what to
up. Can
do
you
past
hold that up to
here.
the camera a little bit,
Yeah, here you
please,
go.
for a little bit longer
Here you
time?
go.
So everybody go hit up the Viral Beats store, please.
So
Go
look at this the
get
old studio
yourself a
back here.
copy. Yeah,
There's a picture of it. You can see the MPC Touch over here.
yeah. See,
The old
but yeah, pick
iMac
that up.
that it was feeding into over here, the stuff. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I got to do all my own designs and stuff like that, and I've been
And it's
doing it
fire.
this way. And that's the thing about it. Like, I learned graphic design through the point of needing it because the expense was too great. While it was fine at the time, it was just like I needed it. But that's the thing. The reason why I was holding this up wasn't to do any kind of shameless advertising or anything like that. It's just a lot of people don't get to the point to where they have a completed product. And once they finally do, and they could give it to people and show people and whatever and do whatever with, it's just they don't know what to do afterwards. Like,
Nah, you need and
some
you know
people
what?
know, like,
And
oh, I
don't
need to perform it, but they're like, how do I go about doing that?
Viral, don't be shy about selling your merch though, man. Just like, hey, put that up there. Like we gotta, in fact, future shows, man, we need to figure out a way for you to prop that shit on the wall so people can just see it. So it's
I
in
have it up here.
their
It's
damn
fine.
Yeah, because I mean, it's you know what
there's
I'm saying.
certain
It's fire.
times to where I bust it out, and it's kind of like when I'm doing
Yeah, all the time, man.
when
Keep it
I'm
out all the
doing
time, man. It's your art.
the whatchamacallit, the remaster on it, and that's the thing about it. Like, a lot of the mistakes that I've made as an artist and as a professional going through this, not only just because of the decisions, but mostly because of the circumstances, the unforeseen circumstances, like the COVID thing. But most importantly, my awareness of the reason why certain things were being prevented, or why I wasn't able to progress and take that step. And I could tell you that, and for those who don't know the backstory, that's what happened to this album. It was released in 2020. COVID shut everything down. So as an artist, there was no performing it, touring it, selling it, doing anything with it after that point. And we started on YouTube here, being active in 2021. And it was pretty much, this was in the rear view. It was a culmination. It is a culmination of 10 years of different songs, different time periods and stuff like that. So I just took that and was like, I'm taking my ball and going home. I'm pivoting to YouTube over here. And I thought that my time as an artist was seemingly over with, because I kind of already wanted it to be over with, existing in the space as just a producer making beats and stuff like that. But then, after a little bit, and it was through the YouTube channel and some of our friends, Creax, that I was just like, oh man, maybe I'm not done with this rapping shit.
Right.
Maybe I'm not done being an artist. And then I was like, let me give a crack at this track.
Yeah,
And
it
then I
feels
gave a
like
crack at
something's
this track.
undone.
Yeah, and I did drill music, like not even anything that's even close to my wheelhouse in the genre. And it was so solid and perfect and tailored to myself as far as the way that it came out. And I was like, oh
I might
shit.
do a drill track now.
I'm like, yo, I'm better than ever. And then I started working on music as an artist and realizing, oh shit, I still have it in me and I still need to get out here and do this. But more importantly, because of having the YouTube channel and doing everything, because of making that pivot and being on here and existing
Yeah.
with the audio production stuff, now I have this as the example of not only what happened as an historical reference, but showing people the process of not only the remaster, but going out there and understanding, to one, be unapologetically myself, and to two, that the age thing is not something that should be considered, other than the fact of needing to take better care of yourself to be able to go out there and hit the
Right.
stage, and knowing that my vocals are better at this hour during the day, so I need to make sure that I'm rested up and I'm not smoking, or I'm not doing this, I'm not doing doing this destructive thing. Like, you learn these techniques, not just speaking as an artist, but
You really do.
from the perspective of business as well, because what do you have with age other than accumulated skill and business? So you are really importing your entire life into wherever you are taking this at whatever age you're taking this. So you could always use those things and blend them the same way that you do with your profession and the stuff that you've learned in your space.
Hmm. Absolutely agree with that 100%, man. All of it is stagecraft. That's what I'm going to say. It's all stagecraft. You got to be, thinking about the business. You got to be thinking about the advertising. You got to be thinking about like, in terms of like, marketing dollars, how those are spent properly when you're trying to, get it out there. You got to think about when you're doing performances. You got to have, be in good shape, eat right. You got to know how to save your voice. I mean, I see people messing themselves up before they go on tour and be doing rehearsals like they're doing the real thing.
Like what happened with Drake.
And okay,
Yeah.
man,
Well,
leave Drake alone, man.
well,
You know
no,
that.
no,
Come
no.
on, man. You know that boy handicapped.
There's a story behind how when he was on, I think it was his first tour, how he
Yeah,
almost ruined his voice completely because he didn't
absolutely.
understand how to change the filter in his humidifier, and because he slept with all that, and it
Yep.
it damaged his.
Post nasal
Yeah, and
drip.
he got a big infection, and it could have cost him his life, but it also could have cost him his music moving forward,
True.
and learning those types of things, I
Very
mean,
important.
something like that, is kind of like whatever, but that's kind of one of the things too. You need to recognize the dangers and the value in what you need to do to take care of yourself to be able to move forward.
So here's the thing, man. Question for you. Question for everybody who's in the chat. Also, so what are your plans? What are your future plans? Where are you going? Where are you going to be in the next 5 years with your music?
People here already know my steez over here. I thought I was just going to exist within this YouTube space and give a crack at it and do what we were going to do over here. But being had just turned 43, realizing that my physical body's in the shape to where I could go out there and do it and run the gamut as an artist at a time to where I am the most developed. That's what I'm going to do.
Hear you.
I'm gonna run it all the way up and take it as far as it needs to go, and see where it lands. And you guys are all here with me at the early stages of it happening. It's just funny because I've seen those early stages of artist development, even within myself, working on albums and then putting it out there, finally being able to perform it, and catching some of the results from that. But this is something different. This is the biggest I've ever done. This is the most I've ever put myself out there, or am going to put myself out there as an artist, and I'm going to take it further than I ever desired to or thought that I desired to. And what I've come to realize is that I didn't desire to because I knew at that point I wasn't ready. And I know that at this point I am. I know the roadblocks that are in the way of me getting one, two, three, but it's just all a chess game and getting things moving the pieces in the right places, and everything. So like, yeah, I'm gonna run the gamut as an artist. So you guys will be seeing me out here while you guys will be seeing me out here developing this
Yep.
channel at the same
And
time.
I'm
So
expecting
look for that.
I'm expecting, and all of you should also be expecting uh Viral to be getting a Grammy in the future. So
But there's also the priority is the Hip Hop Undead album. My
absolutely.
my besides all the going out there as an artist, if I had to be stuck inside for the rest of my life and not going out there as an artist in exchange for the results being a classic hip hop album, I'll take that. I'll
All right, so
take
check
that.
out the comments, and I'll take that. I'll take a little piece of that too. Normally, I don't say that. Like, I would never take anything from another artist's success or anything. But in Viral's case, I will make an exception. I will shamelessly, take money from that man. But
George says house music, sync music,
yeah,
and sell or produce tracks for artists. Hey, if you want to dabble into some hip hop, I'm out here looking for beats. And the thing is that I'm going to get a lot more than what we're going to end up using for the album. It's just I'm looking for classic hip hop
and
albums,
be
preferably
careful,
boom bap.
George. Be
But if you
careful,
want to
George, because
dabble into some hip hop,
be careful, George. Viral will jack your beats. I'm
I
just kidding.
haven't
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I haven't put the word out there yet. I just kind of been working on stuff and, kind of soft selling it for people on here like, yo, I'm looking for beats. Yeah, that's another unique thing that I could bring to this channel over here as an artist is because I need beats and people on here making beats, looking for artists to develop or looking for artists to sell beats to or whatever. It's like, hey, if you guys are willing to do some hip hop,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
and
Yo,
but you gotta.
George says Bronx
See
boom
that?
bap
Yeah,
beats
you know what I'm
here,
saying.
hard shit.
You know what I'm
Yo,
saying. You know what I'm
yo,
saying.
yo. So,
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. Where? Hey, George, check this out, man. I'm gonna show you something, man. Look at the camera, George. PDP, baby.
So
Chris had to come along, man. Chris had to come along.
So DL said, I want to do enough collab work to live off royalty payments. Yeah, there's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
The sync music thing that George was talking about, there are like 3 or 4 different avenues. There are also independent people out there that help guide that along the way too. So maybe we'll get into that one day, like break down the
Yeah,
levels that
we
there
could do
are
that.
of certain types of things. We'll have to sit down and collaborate off camera and figure out
Yeah.
because there's a lot of detail in every
Yeah,
single
we'll do it like a
element.
class.
Yeah, and yeah, we could put a little presentation or something like that up. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. I want to do enough collaboration. Yeah, so the live off of royalty payments. Yeah, all you need is an artist or two that are motivated enough to take it all the way up, to run it all the way up. That are good enough to run it all the way up. So a lot of it, most of it, has to do with motivation. Tom will tell. Almost got my home studio straight. Yeah. Tyrone's
Hey,
he's been working on his stuff, like really working on his stuff.
hey,
And getting it going.
Tyrone,
It's been great
man, the
watching
one
him.
thing I want to say, not to cut you off, Viral, but I
No,
just
it's all
want to say
good.
one thing to you, Tyrone, man. Hey, about putting the studio together in the crib. Is it in your house or is it in a business? First define that for me, where your studio's at. Because you said home studio. You did
Home
define
studio,
it. Okay,
yeah.
home studio. I have a home studio too, and I gotta tell you, man, I only have one regret about my home studio. It's not what's in it. The regret I have is the damn electric bill. That's my yeah. Okay. So that I mean, look, if you're not worried about paying electric bill, I mean, look what it did to me, man. Y'all see the age, right? It's getting worse by the
Man,
day.
you ain't got no wrinkles. Look at that. I told my wife the other day,
I'm
I was
telling
like,
you, I'm old
look
as
at,
shit,
I'm getting
though.
old right here to where I look like I'm angry at all times because I got this
Hey,
line right
hey,
here.
George, come
That's what
on,
I get for
George, help me
trying to
out.
look
You
like a
see,
hard ass
look
as a
look at all the
kid.
crows. Look at all the crow's feet, man. I got,
Oh, I
man.
ain't taking off my glasses and show you my eyes. Y'all go fuck yourself with that. Catch me slipping. No, but yeah.
Yeah, the
So
damn
my boy
electric
from New
bill is
Orleans makes
serious,
hella
man,
hip hop
George.
beats. Yeah, God, yeah, New Orleans jumping. Yeah, you're in a good market, really,
New Orleans is
Tyrone.
so dope. I love New Orleans.
Yeah, it's a really good
The
market to jump
the
off
French
and get
Quarter.
going with your beats and Tyrone.
Hey,
I'm gonna need
Tyrone,
one
I'll be
too,
coming with that like that Lanye, man. You know what I'm saying?
man.
Tyrone know what I'm talking about.
Once when I am done with this single and I put it out there, then after that I'm gonna put out the "Hey, I need beats, everybody" video.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
until then, it's just our friends here on the channel who come through and all that other stuff. But yeah,
All right, I'm gonna
put it this
send you
way.
some, man. I'll send you some.
Here's the deal. I leased a beat from T Sketch. I went out of my way to do that one just to support, but not only that, decide, because she's got them all up there on BeatStars, as a library. I wanted to pick the best one, and it picked me. So I'm working on that right now. But I also have the other stuff that we've been working on, and uh, going into the making of the album stuff. But yeah, in a unique position to need some beats from y'all producers out there. So yeah, question is, are you gonna record artists in your home studio? For me here, the answer is no. Um, but that's because what we have on the business plan over here is a commercial space for the studio, not
Absolutely.
at home. But that's just us directly, and because of a lot of reasons. And still, we're trying to work out the kinks to that, and figure all that mess out. Um, because I have so much work to do studio wise, vocally, and for the album that I'm working on. Yes, some of it's going to be done here, but most of it will be done elsewhere. And I already have a couple spots lined up, and you guys will see because I will show you guys, and then you guys will be like, "Oh shit!" It's going to be a great look for the YouTube channel, but more importantly, most
Yes.
importantly, it's going to sound fucking amazing. It's going to sound fantastic. And I'm now placing myself in studios and places I could work out of rather than trying to build because, for one, in a two-bedroom apartment, there ain't no building. Okay? For two, I've worked in every single space in this two-bedroom apartment, and there ain't no setting everything up. I even fabricated a booth and everything. There's no adequate setup that would help me bring it to the level that it needs to be at to run the gamut on this album. So, no is the question because I'm not even going to record myself. Um, Moving to a different space in a home studio, the answer is no on that as well. If I have a friend or another artist or something like that cruise by and it's the only space we could use, then we'll do that. But for the most part, we'll go elsewhere. But yeah, I'm um, I'm my own client right now as an artist. So everything that
Yep.
I'm doing audio production wise, I am selfishly doing it for myself. And it's the best example that I could give you guys out here. And it has been this album and going through the remaster and doing all that other stuff. It's been a great example because I could show you guys some of the problematic issues with the mix and some of the mastering because that's what happens when you collect work over a 10-year time period that fluctuates like that.
Yo, DL, definitely make a beat tonight, man.
I am going
Hell,
to
for
make a beat
everybody who's a
now.
music producer, make a beat tonight.
Make a beat.
Everybody should just be making
Everybody
beats
just make
anyway.
a beat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whenever I got spare time, I'm making beats. So, period. Like even if, and no, I don't do 10-minute beats, but I will say this that I will start a sketch and then normally it takes me many, many, many hours to, properly chop and, compose and arrange and all that kind of stuff like that. Like it's not a quick process because I'm really meticulous about my drums and all that stuff. But yeah, George, man, for sure, man. I built a booth. Actually, Viral was a part of that. He suggested some acoustic foam for what I did,
yeah.
and
It's like,
I
get the
ended
fuck
up
out of here. I was
how
like, yo,
much?
you looking
Hey,
at the Arlux?
how much did I end up getting? I think I ended up buying 16 packs of that stuff that you recommended.
I don't know. It was over $100 in Amazon foam, so that translates to like $800 or a
I
thousand
don't know
dollars
what
in
the hell that was.
RLX.
Yeah, for the RLX, yeah. Next to the RLX, it would have been ridiculous. But hey, Tyrone, man, if you can comment, bro, man, tell me, man, what you doing in New Orleans, man? What kind of hip hop are you doing, man? I definitely want to check out some of your music, man, because I love New Orleans, man. New Orleans is just a great place. Um, man, culture, food, jazz, just man, what a great place to make music, man.
So
Great history.
speaking of making music, I know everybody out there doesn't want to exist in the professional space, and there's a lot of people that are just doing this just for fun as a hobby, and you know, getting better,
That's me.
or just looking go. But see, that's the thing. Producing is a
Serious
hobby, but existing
hobbyist.
in a serious hobby. See,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
you
A
know what?
serious
I take the,
hobbyist.
I take the pressure off myself like that. You know what I mean? Because like, and I really do mean that in the best of ways, right?
For sure.
So like, if I happen to make some money, like somebody wants to throw some money at me for helping them with something, okay, cool, throw the money. I won't say no, right? But I think when I say that I'm just really just having fun, I really am having fun because once it becomes like for me making music, once it becomes a chore or it becomes something that's a demand that has to be done, probably not gonna do this shit no
Yeah.
more. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I love music, right? I want to have fun.
And I think that's the main point of everything. You know, we've always adopted the thing like production with the purpose or whatever because we've always had a purpose behind the production. But there's something to be said about just blindly producing for the fun of it.
I see
And
you,
you can't
Tyrone.
just you can't take the fun out of it. It has to remain joyful
Yeah,
enough to where it's
yeah.
not
I
just
mean, like,
something that
what's the
you're
point of
trying to
doing music?
grind out and do whatever with. So it's not me. So Tyrone, answer your question over
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
My
yeah.
best
I was
friend is
telling him I
hip
see
hop.
him, man. That's what's up, man. That's
Okay.
dope, bro.
Yeah.
Man,
Dope.
like, we're gonna have to come out to New Orleans and see you, man, just so we could just eat, man. We ain't got to do music, bro. Like, you got to take me to all the good spots to eat. If y'all look, y'all can tell I ain't missed no meals. So clearly, I could get down on some New Orleans food for real, for real.
So, is there anything that anybody else wants to add to this discussion? I know that we were kind of all
Yeah,
over the place and things because it's like it's such a wide spectrum. We were talking
yeah.
about this
It's a
the other
big
day.
topic.
It's like you got people that just do this for fun, just to entertain themselves, just as a hobby to get by. And then you got people that are trying to run it all the way up, and then you got everybody in between.
Absolutely.
And it's. I mean, for the most part, most of us just want to exist within a space to where you're getting fairly compensated for your work.
Yeah, your time. Yeah, for your
Yeah,
work and your time.
yeah,
And one of the things I was gonna say, like in the essence of us having fun, just remember like also, there are so many genres and subgenres of things now. Like it's not like it used to be, clearly defined, oh, that's rap music, that's hip hop.
yeah.
Now there's all these different subgenres of the art form and all that stuff. And
Even though
and
the
hey, a
Grammys
lot of
still
them they're
call it the
all
rap
cool.
category.
Yeah, yeah. Like for instance, like how many people in here actually have heard, UK drill rap and you like UK drill rap? Like, okay, so first of all, not a gatekeeper, not a gatekeeper. This is not the face of a gatekeeper. Right? So I'm gonna tell you something. I actually kind of, on the low low, a shout out to the UK and the whole drill scene. Look, we out here, we got gangster rap, your drill music out there, man. I don't know why, man. I feel like I want to kill something like when I see drill music
It's
and I hear it.
because Jungle. They're so they were
Yeah, the
they
jungle, yeah, jungle
the
music, right? Yeah,
yeah, because Jungle like so exceptional, and it's just so rowdy and
it
raga.
is, man. It's like almost
And
like
when you take
rap
that
punk
energy
music.
and throw it into
Yeah.
drill, you have UK
Yeah.
drill.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
mean,
shout out to, yeah, and speaking of, UK drill, it's like, Kriax over there in Sweden, he was the
Kayaks.
one who got me motivated into getting
Okay.
through and MCing again,
So look,
something that I
man,
thought I wasn't going to do again.
if you speak to Kriax in the near future, Viral,
Oh, I will. He's on
let
the
him
channel
know that I
still.
will come out of retirement to do the illest verse on a drill song.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better in production
I will
too.
be do something so ridiculous they're gonna be like, why
You hear that
has
Kriaxic?
this guy not done that? I get a lot of people do that to me.
And
They're all
he's
like,
been in
man,
the
you gotta
chat
start
before
rapping again.
too.
And I'm
When
like, nobody, I'm like, no one wants to hear a really, really old guy. I mean, there's a difference between being like an OG, and then there's a
I
difference
mean,
between an OG,
well,
OG,
that's the
right?
thing.
So,
Like,
you know,
do
that's me.
I carry myself from the perspective of being able to even achieve a drill track?
I think so. I think you can still pull it off, man.
No,
Oh, you
but
said he's
like,
not from UK, he's from Switzerland. Who's from
Sweden. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, those areas, yeah. But I guess, yeah. I mean, who's having the biggest moment in UK drill right now would be Swedish drill. I mean, they definitely carry the ranks of that. So, yeah,
I
yeah,
think I saw some drill also, like the Polynesian drill coming out of like Hawaii too.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I mean, I think there's, if I'm correct, there's like obviously, originated from UK, but I think there are a couple of African artists that were doing drill,
It's crazy when you let
a couple of Irish ones, Russian dudes was doing it.
the genre breathe in all these different cultures. It just creates this massive hip hop culture.
Yeah.
That's why battle rap is so big in like even Mexico and the Philippines and stuff like that still. But yeah,
And just so you guys know that when Viral and
for
I
sure.
are talking about hip hop, we're talking about uppercase H, uppercase H.
Yeah. I always do that
It's
on
as a distinction.
intentionally.
Jamaican roots to drill, yes sir, yes sir. A is Alistar. Are you from Jamaica, man? Is he from
No,
Jamaica?
no, he's not from
Oh,
Jamaica.
okay. Cause my mama Bayesian, man. So like
He's in
from like so I'm
he's in
half Bayesian, bro. I'm from
Scotty's
my mama
neighborhood.
from Barbados, bro.
Yeah,
About
so
to have some Jamaican food tonight. Actually, my wife's cooking it up right now.
nice.
Get ready to have some of that jerk chicken. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we wanted to have this discussion because we were having this discussion. That's how these things
Yes, indeed.
work. And it's just like I'm doing something really unorthodox here on YouTube, existing as a
That's
producer and
what's
then
up.
going out there as an artist, like trying to run the gamut, like completely or whatever, and doing it through the means of hip hop, like just kind of letting people know, the style that kind of birthed my music, and being what it became is most deserving of that too, especially close to it. But yeah, I was
Yo,
born
and
in
yo, I
Kenya.
see Alistar,
LOL.
man. Yo, shout
Is that
out
true?
Scotland, man. And yo, brother, shout out to Kenya too, because my mom's family originally they from Nigeria, man. So yeah, definitely shout out Africa, man.
Yeah.
Love my continent over there.
That's the beauty of YouTube and existing in this space to where people from all regions, all demographics, countries, cultures, and everything. So,
Absolutely, we all get to intersect.
and there's a lot of people that exist in the non-American culture who are also trying to
Mm-hmm.
find their way in a professional space. I mean, it's not like we're condescending to be able to speak to a market that we don't understand at that level. It's just the general principles and like the golden rules when it comes to this
Yeah, they
kind of
apply
thing.
for
Yeah,
sure.
it does. It does.
They apply.
It's a natural
You know.
DEI.
uh,
Yo, our whole country, yo.
Hey, Alistar, we should do actually Viral and I should do a whole episode on DEI. It's
Yeah, our president lives
actually
in the
kind of
DEI White
comical.
House.
Yep,
It's
yep, yep.
funny. It's always the terminology means the same, and they just change it,
Yeah.
every cycle,
And you
basically.
see George and George word life, man.
Shout out to
Shout
that
out
guy, put it to
Akon if
me.
you catch this, man. Love you, brother.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, hip hop in the way that it's been received in other places versus the way that it still exists here, and the suppression methods and all that other stuff. That was one of the main things that kind of drove this conversation here, is because there seems to be a sea change in the industry, and a
Most
lot of it
definitely.
has to do with beat making, artist development, record labels, the distribution methods, the streaming methods. Everything in music right now is seemingly at question, not only from the artists that it's always been at question with. And,
Yeah.
we just answer that question by go independent and being like, fuck y'all, we're going to go
Absolutely, right?
sling this shit on
Direct
ourselves
to
because we
direct to
could just
consumer,
direct to
man. You know what I mean?
consumer. Yeah. You could, have your party over there. We'll have our party over here, and it does deprive the world of your music when it comes to the reach that these streaming platforms have. But it deprives it even further, not being able to create the music because you don't have the means to create music because you're not compensated fairly. So there's a lot to be said about all of that. But there seems to be a really honest sea change here in the music industry, that not only from the artist perspective, the producer perspective, the creator perspective, but the powers that be, and just the general audience is starting to
Mm-hmm.
understand that this shift is kind of redictating the way that music is done, how it's perceived, because the industry has allowed this stuff to get away with the way that it has been. Just, hey, the kids say that it's popular, so we got to put it out there because that's what
Yeah.
that's where the numbers
Yeah.
are at.
I mean, that's it, really. I mean, and remember their interest again, these companies, even these streaming companies, we already know we're as artists, producers, artists in this industry, that we're screwed over
Yeah.
completely by these streaming services. I mean, you're not getting anywhere near the amount of money you should be getting, and you're talking about how much did they say the owner of what was it? Was it like Spotify or something?
Maybe
What
Spotify.
what did the owner get? Like
Yeah,
483
he's in the
million or something?
yeah, and he's in the couple billions right now as far as
Yeah, I
his
mean,
net
but I'm
worth.
saying that's
But
what
his
his
company hasn't
income
been
was or something.
profitable until last year. Last year was his first year out of all the years of existing as the main streaming platform. They just barely, after all this time of
But
blitzscaling, had
you
turned a
you
profit.
know you know what I think. Well, the fact that they're screwing artists over, that's still not the artist's fault, right?
Well,
And the
how
fact
does
that
he
they
make
weren't
that kind of income if
right,
the company itself doesn't turn a
right.
profit?
So and that's what I'm saying. So only thing I can think is that initially, if I'm trying to be fair from a being a technologist, point of view, maybe the infrastructure that they built out, they were still paying for that.
Yeah, it was blitz
But
scaling. Yeah, the
yeah, and
investors.
to
Yeah,
scale it, and
yeah, for
to
sure.
scale it for a worldwide operation, that's expensive. I ain't gonna lie, it's expensive, right?
Yeah,
But But to make that kind of money in a single year, and you got artists that got billions of streams, and they're making only like a
They made
couple of
these
couple
deals,
of
these backdoor deals. They
thousand
shook hands with the
dollars.
music industry, and the music industry, all these labels, they got stock
Yeah,
options,
it's
and
pretty wild.
as soon as Spotify went live, they dumped their
Yeah,
stock promptly. But that's the reason why the artists and specific music is prioritized towards the mainstream artist. But the
you
blitzscaling
find
model
out real
is the
quick.
reason why the owner has been making profit himself, but the company has not been profitable itself. And people are starting to understand, not only with Spotify, but these third-party distributors like these, DistroKid and stuff like that. When you distribute the way that you do, then you have to go through either them or what's the other one? I don't know. There's like three or four of them that exist now. It's not just DistroKid, but they're all beholden to whatever rules and regulations they're facing with.
Okay, so
There you
this
go.
dude, okay, what's his name? David Ike.
Daniel Eck.
Daniel. Oh, Daniel. Yeah, Daniel.
Daniel
Okay, I
Eck.
see it now. Yeah, Daniel Eck. This guy, hey guys, it's so ridiculous. This dude is worth $7.3 billion off the back of people like us. That's ridiculous.
On a non-profitable company that took 20 something years
It's
to turn profit,
ridiculous, man.
and meanwhile,
Artists are
the
starving,
and but
so
but the major artists are not, because they get
and,
prioritized in
and
the
and when you
algorithm.
talk about major artists, but you gotta think too.
Label artists.
They are making money, right, from places like Spotify. However, do you know how many of those artists, and I know a few, they had to justify how they make money doing like um, a lot of TV commercials for products
Yeah.
where they would be getting like they would make like $1 million for a commercial, right? Then they're turning around and flying to like places like Dubai and putting on private shows for like 2 million.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, seriously, it'd be like 100 people in a room. And you got this big star, catering to like these princes and stuff like that, to make money. I mean, it's crazy. Like they really sell themselves,
Yeah.
in such a weird way. The business is fickle, man. And George, I saw your comment about the artists out in China. I just want you to know that, and yeah, I'm very familiar with that because even though my mom, like I said, originally Nigerian, my dad is from Hong Kong, so definitely I know all about them. Shout out to China, shout out to Korea, you know, Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan. There's just so many great Asian artists too, and we even got guys coming out of like Sri Lanka. You
Yeah.
know, you got guys coming from Philippines that are nice with it, and but shout out to all those different countries and to all the continents. Everybody who's participating in hip hop, who's like the hip hop culture and making rap music, because literally it's the biggest form of music on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And it's a damn shame that the people that really should be getting paid aren't getting paid. So that really kind of
Mostly,
breaks my heart.
which is not mutually exclusive to America, but is a bigger problem here in the States because the way that we have pretty much orchestrated the entire music business around the world, because a
Yes.
lot of these companies, most all of them, they exist and have a UK branch, they have a Japanese
Yeah.
branch, they all exist within
Yeah.
these other countries, and stipulate the same kind of organized fuckery. And it's kind of like the
X.
thing with that I
Facts.
was saying about the YouTube thing and the way that this relates here to the music business. And it's just like with the stuff that we've done here, with the quality of work that we've done here, all the videos that we put out and all the stuff like that, but the algorithm dictates our content, until the point to where there's the amount of engagement that would place it elsewhere, but the algorithm prioritizes content of those who are more partnered with them and doing specific
Definitely.
things as far as embracing the zeitgeist material, and as
Mm-hmm.
much as we'll talk about it on here and talk about what's relevant, just like this conversation's always going to be relevant when it comes to making music and stuff like that. you know it's just like the Spotify thing, the powers that be kind of dictate the way that things go. So it's up to us to kind of navigate our way
And
through
change
that.
the model if we can, right?
And that's kind of the point that I
You
was
know,
getting at here, because doubling back to where this all comes to, and that's the fact that there's this sea change that is happening in the music industry that is kind of getting people to understand the lack of fairness in this business and the reason why. And I think of a lot of it also has to do with a lot of people. They're like, hey, COVID happened. Let me get this instrument. Let me
right.
try to be a musician. And they're like, hey,
Absolutely. People
I made this
reevaluate it a
shit.
lot.
Yeah. And the thing is that there's a lot of new musicians that came out of that cycle and then figured out that where do you go from there? It's bullshit,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, and if you don't have something in place to understand the infrastructure of the lane that you want to carve out for yourself, then you're either going to get lost or just give the fuck up. And,
Absolutely. That's a normal thing. So that's a good question for the people that are still in the chat, is that, based on your knowledge of the industry and a lot of these services that can, get our music out into the world, do you find that are you encouraged about the things that are changing, or do you feel discouraged about it?
I guess before anybody else in there answers, I would say I'm encouraged from our perspective as the ones who are actually creating the content and making the music.
Yeah.
But I am discouraged over the fact that the powers that be are still trying to find a way to where they and they alone could eat and try to salvage what they've been alone
Yeah. Yeah.
gatekeeping to be able to eat
Because
alone on.
because if you look at what they did, man, right? You're talking about when we knew that records like vinyl was going to, wax was going away, right?
Yeah.
Then they figured out how to, eat up the market for cassettes. When cassettes went away, they figured out a way to eat up the CD market, and they got territorial, right?
And you see
Like
what happened when they
super
couldn't figure it
territorial,
out once it
right?
became digital and the whole
Yeah,
Napster thing.
and
They're like, oh
yeah,
shit, that's the first time they weren't on top of it.
right. And then now they're all over it. Like
Yeah.
they're all over it. They've caught up,
They've
and
had
they
20
have
years to
truly figured
prepare
out how to
for
screw
this
everybody over.
to be able to re-identify or renegotiate the terms.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
really need to, the best people in the industry need to. And I think like the problem is that we don't have anybody who's in the game as an official spokesperson or a champion for the rest of the
yeah.
industry.
And I
And
think
and I think they're scared to do that.
And I think that kind of falls to my earlier point about the ageism thing and Gen X getting the keys. Well, you get the keys and then you're just in the same house. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
not in the process of redecorating that house or moving that house or tearing it down and building another house. A lot of these people that are receiving the keys to be in charge are a part of this already established business model that they're just going to pursue and continue down the road. Now, some will affect change, but most of them will continue the status quo and just kind of
Right.
move along with the changing technology and go down that route and just go where it may. But
And I think a lot of reasons why people do that, what you're saying, is that I've noticed that people are just lazy, right? They don't want to
Yeah.
have to do all that work
Yeah. And it's a
to
lot
try
to
to
rebuild
distribute
an
their
infrastructure
right.
is a lot of work to do, and you don't
Yeah.
want to be the person who is singularly tasked with
Mm-hmm.
that, or even tasked with getting the people together and tasking them to do that. You don't want to be in either of those shoes, so there's not really
Yeah.
anybody to step up and be like, "Hey, I'll do it." It's just us understanding the lack of fairness as musicians and producers and
Mm-hmm.
creators, and then the general public being like, "Hey, yeah, this shit ain't fair. How come you're running my artist into the ground like that, and
True.
doing all this?" But that's the
Very
thing.
true.
Like, how much more change is going to have to be affected on this side of the spectrum before it actually takes shape on that end of it? You know?
Definitely, definitely. And real quick, George, I see you, man. Yeah, online definitely did help because that kind of changed the equation, especially if you're going direct to consumer. And then you're selling physical music too. Yeah, I think that's still a worthy cause, a worthy thing to
Yeah.
do. What do you think? Viral, still
Yeah.
a good idea?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's been a second, resurgence in vinyl. So now vinyl's bigger than ever all
Oh
over
yeah, I love
again.
vinyl.
Um,
Absolutely,
People
definitely a
are
fan.
still slinging CDs, but they're looking for a means to get out of that and have a new technology.
Yeah,
Some people are doing the thumb drives, but they've never really caught on as a medium. I think the direct to consumer prospects put people in a position to get whatever you have that's available, because that market is a demographic that exists with the all-inclusive perspective of give me what you got, I'll take it how you give it. And a lot of them
yeah,
have different means, and like, hey, you could get this, you get the CD, you get the vinyl, you get the USB, and the digital download, and you have
yeah.
those things, available. And yeah, even George just said it too, cassettes out of all
Yeah,
things are
cassettes. Oh
making a
yeah. Oh, I
comeback.
love I love cassettes still to this day. I
Gen
got a
Z
crazy
brought them
collection.
out. They're like, yo, cassettes again.
Hey, George, I don't know if you've seen it, but us scratch DJs, man, we be scratching off of cassettes too now, man. Man, that's some fun shit to do.
God, what was that guy
Um,
at the that scratch competition? He used the reel to reels, and he did a whole
oh
set,
yeah,
and he
man.
scratched on
Oh,
the on the
for
railroad.
sure,
The
man.
hell was that guy's name?
Sometime you gotta,
Oh man.
you sometimes you gotta originate, man. And that was dope. That actually took that. Yeah, that took us back
That
a little
was
bit.
what, Summer Jam or something?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Jesus
was a while
Christ.
ago. Yeah, I don't remember the DJ who did that though. I don't remember his name. But I remember seeing that. It was cool.
The internet kind of made it to
Um,
where the underground became classified as a niche, but mainstream still exists. Yeah, and that's the
yeah,
thing. When people said underground, when I existed within that space, it was everything that was not mainstream, but there was also an under the underground. There was also a more local underground. There was also,
absolutely. Yeah,
just, and that's where it started getting in the space of people that were just trying to put it out, and, just making music for the sake of making music. It definitely has created a complete sea change of, you know, progress when it comes to making music, especially because you could, just like Lil Tussin over here, you come right out of it and into the real world and be
yeah,
like, oh, I got this device here. Let me go on BandLab and,
yeah.
sample
Yep.
everything I have
And
around me to be able to
and
make a
and
beat.
make
And you're
some
like,
music.
oh, well, you're in sample based production already.
Absolutely. And DL, man, I definitely want to acknowledge your comment about the grocery baggers, man. You're not lying. They be making like loot, man. I seen some grocery baggers making ridiculous sums of money, dog. And like yeah, like their friends are like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Man, I work at the grocery store."
And if
You know?
people want to understand why they don't see as many musicians within the space of YouTube, it's because as little as you guys understand that the people get paid, or as much as you guys understand that musicians get paid so little, the people on YouTube get paid less for doing
Way
far more
less.
work.
Yeah.
So if you want to exist within a musical space and then exist within this space, in order to create the music, you have to sacrifice the channel space. In order to
Yeah.
make the
Yeah.
channel space, you have to sacrifice the music space, because what am I doing within this couple of hours that I could be over here making these beats instead of
Yeah.
talking to
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
guys?
Right.
But
Right.
like,
And the craziest stuff about that, like, so, as you know, Viral, I'm working on getting ready to get a fairly active podcast show that's going.
yeah,
And we're in the process of recording episodes and things like that, with guests, and guys that will be getting active. So hopefully you'll be able to tune in and listen to that. We're mostly doing like long form type interviews, but similar to this. But of course, it's me being the host of that show is more pointed. The questions are more pointed toward certain things, and we really are talking about some serious issues. But with that being said, I had to create a space. That's not music, but I had to create a space in this industry where I don't have to rely on that, right? Like, that's why I have a career, and now I can go ahead and do this thing. And I've had a career for a long, long time. I'm actually probably getting ready to retire soon, but I have this really long career so that I can have fun doing what I love to do.
yeah.
And I love being able to ask people the right type of questions and to get people to think and get people to evolve, get people to try to move the human condition to a better place. That's like really my goal in life, right? So, it's the same thing with the music. Like, if like, it really depends on, like, are you lazy, or do you want to change something? Do
Yeah.
you really want to do something that affects change with your work? And if that's the case, don't worry about so much the popularity, the money, the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Just really work on your craft, whatever that craft is. If you're a writer, if you're a musician, you're a producer, you're
For
you're a
sure.
hip hop artist, whatever you are, dig into your craft and master your craft.
And there's something to be said to just blindly working and doing music just for the sake of,
Yeah.
you're not doing it for nothing. You're not doing it for no reason. Production with a purpose, yes. If the purpose is developing your craft, that's the purpose.
Man, you
Just make
winning.
some throwaway beats. Just,
Yeah,
make
you
some
winning.
stuff that is going to go in the trash. And then you'd be like, oh shit, I got this one that's not going in the trash. And not only not going in the trash, but I got somebody who could use this. The magic happens within that time period to where you're being completely inconsiderate of the purpose behind the process. And Ali Star hit it on the head here. The only option
Hmm.
I see is live performance.
I
Everyone
agree with
doing
that.
it in the real world, and that's exactly it. When music existed before this space, or any type of musical space or amplification, it has always been, since the beginning of time, a
Absolutely.
live performance setting, and it always ends. That's the thing that does the most when it comes to the highest upper echelon
Yeah,
of the
nothing
music
beats it, man.
industry. You are making the most and doing the best if you are out there doing live performances like Taylor Swift does. You know what I mean? Like,
Shout out Taylor Swift.
yeah, like Post Malone does. Like, these people,
Post.
they don't just fill up a stadium and then, take a couple months off and call it a day. They're filling up these stadiums day after day after day and
Absolutely,
doing
they
these
are.
entire tours. I mean, listen to what, if you read some of the reports of what Taylor Swift's concert caused the damage in the earth, because the amplification and the amount of people and all the traffic and everything that has stressed out the planet from just the amount of people doing that. You're doing that on a regular basis.
Hey, you got to pick your poison, man. And if it means, messing up the world's, climate and environment a little bit, you just got to
Hey,
do
you
what you got to
gotta
do.
do what you gotta do to get the
You know what I'm
message out
saying? The world,
musically.
the world will recover. The
Uncle
atmosphere
Chrome.
will.
Welcome,
Uncle
welcome.
Chrome, yo, what's up, Uncle Chrome? How you
How's it
doing,
going?
man?
Late but happy to catch it. Yeah, one of my motto. Music is a wonderful hobby and a lousy profession. That is a great quote.
Man,
It
that's
is,
a fact.
but that's the thing. Like, that's where the sea change in the industry seems to be coming into place to where it is becoming to where we're understanding, at least acknowledging the fact that it is not a noble profession. It is not, one of those professions. If you were to tell, most people are embarrassed to say that they're a musician. What do you do? What do you do for music?
Right, right.
I
Well, I
produce. So
mean,
who do you produce? It
you
always
know,
becomes about pivoting towards somebody else as an
you know
artist that they
what's
know.
funny though about that you said? Because the reason why people are embarrassed by it is because of the fact that I hope it's been very clear to everybody. If you make music and you had the intention of just being like rich or something,
Good luck.
you in for some heartbreak. I'm sorry to tell you that. Like I've been around this game for what 40 years, and and yeah,
That's why
yeah, they're
people
like
try
you
to
better
try
do
their
it because you
hand into
love it.
being a promoter and they lose their ass. They're like, "Oh shit,
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
all the money's in live performance. What the hell's going on here?" Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you were a shit promoter and you didn't know what you were
Definitely,
doing. And what happened
definitely.
was you became one of these people that has a name attached to you that people are like, "Oh, he's the promoter behind that." No, I'm not going to take that show. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to
Exactly.
perform that show. Notoriously, and when you are notoriously unreliable, that's like the worst stigma you could have as somebody who makes music.
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt.
but speaking to the other end of the spectrum, being reliable, solid is the
Yeah.
word. If you hear the word solid in the music
Mm-hmm.
industry, you're doing the right thing.
Definitely,
You're doing
definitely.
things the right way.
Yeah, people will look at you a certain way. People will admonish you a certain way for sure. If you get that word attached to you, solid. Yeah, as a performer, as a producer, as whatever you are, you could be an A&R guy person. Like that. Yeah,
Uncle Chrome just lost his recording. He said, "I'm pissed as fuck." He said, "Just recorded a performance, or did I? Forgot to hit the record, so nope.
ah,
Close it down till I'm in a better
man,
headspace." Yeah. Yeah, that when that happens to me, I realize that it's the universe telling me, "Hey, do something else right now because when you finally do take it, it's going to be something better at that moment." For whatever reason, the universe is pulling you off of it. And yeah, that shit sucks. I did it. I was talking to Son just the other day and I was like, yo, I got what, 5 perfect
oh
takes? I was
yeah,
like, yo, I got 5 perfect takes,
yeah,
but I forgot to hit the SSL magic over here on the 4K, so I don't have those
yeah,
transformers. Like, is there any way to salvage it doing without it? It's like, yeah, there's ways to salvage it, but then I'm doing un-SSL song. Like the amount of dynamics it adds to the sound, it was just so much to where before he even asked me the
yeah,
question, they were already deleted takes, but they were
yeah. I
perfect,
was like,
perfect
oh
takes.
man,
I was like,
I said he can't live with it. He can't
damn.
live with it. Can't live
I
with it.
feel for you.
And I do understand that. I understand that.
So have you ever recorded outside the wind and traffic to put it in Melodyne, get the MIDI off of it, and tried it? It works pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's word, man.
Yeah,
Tyrone, for real,
yeah,
for
that's
real.
dope. I haven't done that with wind or anything like that, but I've done that with sound. Experimented with Melodyne and stuff like that, and doing stuff like that.
I
And
yeah, I think the bandwidth gods are trying to tell us that we got to wrap it up.
yeah,
Started had a little lagginess there.
yeah, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, and we're
Yeah,
right around time here. It says, "Show up
yeah,
and pay
definitely,
attention,"
definitely.
is the advice given to me by a LA student, Trumpet Cat. There's a
Yes,
time to
sir.
assume to
Yes,
take a
sir.
retake, not to.
Chrome.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. I'm one of those people that I like to take everything all the way through, and if I could swallow the chorus, I'll try to do that too. Just because try to get the best I can, out of performance,
Yeah,
and try to keep the continuity going. To me, whatever you do must be
Yeah,
repeatable. That's the definition of solid to me. Yeah, if you
yeah,
have the ability to
consistency,
remain consistent, that's what gives you the identification of
definitely.
somebody who's solid in the industry for sure. You know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Like being able to go in and chop samples, re-chop stuff for people, help with like some remixes or whatever the case may be, and get in there and do it. People are like honestly, I've gone into studios before, man, and left, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my boy, he called me back and he was just like, yo, man, yo, you were tripping people out when you was here, right? Because you finished, you gave me the stuff and then you left, right? And people were like, literally, who the fuck was that? Like they have no idea who I am, like none. They're
Uh,
like, who is this guy? We've never heard of him, don't know him, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. The idea is, hey, make your money, and like, well, at least for me, I'm not gonna speak for anybody in here, but like, make your money and be out.
Yeah, and one of the reasons for having this conversation, and you could tell that there's been an overall theme here as far as what our conversations here been between doing these Sundays episodes. Um, Encouragement,
Absolutely,
and because
yeah,
there's such a wide spectrum, and even just with everybody who showed up here in the chat, just such a diversity of production
from
styles,
around the world.
yeah, the spectrum, yeah, from all over the world, and it's just we all have different desires to achieve different things musically. So, one of the sea changes in music has been this YouTube thing. And I think, for me, it's been one of the most valuable assets that I hadn't even really considered as far as artist development. I was just looking to put my shit out like that, not realizing as much as the community and all that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, crazy. Right. Viral made a mistake by selling
What's up,
the
Ray?
word.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I think that we really, I think we covered it all. I think we definitely, gave everybody as well as even ourselves some food for thought, man. You know, things to think about. Like, I think we all need to make sure we've got solid plans and realistic goals in terms of like what we really want to do, with our music. For me, like I said, I'm a pretty simple person. I do it all for fun, guys.
Yeah.
I like to help out where I can. If I can make a little bit of money, on the side doing it, then that's fine. But I'm not looking for, fame and fortune. I'm not looking for a spotlight, with my
Yeah.
music. Just I want to master my craft, and I'm still working on mastering my craft. And I want to be able to help other people, master their craft. So
And
that's it.
that's, the real takeaway is like always learn, always learn from your fellow musician, because we all
Yes.
we got,
Yes.
when it comes down to all this. And, a lot of us have been through it. A lot of us are trying to go through it. A lot of us, have no desire to go through it, but still want to know what it's like to go through it. So, you know, you move forward learning, through other people's mistakes and, pain
and
and all that
and
other
our own,
stuff.
right? Like and our own mistakes, you know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. Yeah, Uncle Chrome, I know, man. I see you,
Yeah,
man. I see you, man. I appreciate you, man.
gave it away from
Um,
his heart.
Word life, man. For real.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we'll probably revisit this conversation as well as like a lot of other conversations. Like I said, we should definitely get to it and go through the varying levels to kind of but that needs to be more of a community effort, I think, of getting everybody involved. And while we're still trying to figure out our bearings here, um, you
Yeah, and
know,
maybe we can have like a if you guys are down, would you guys be down on getting on like a larger call with us and maybe and it doesn't even have to be on viral channel if you guys don't want to. When
yeah,
once I launch, we can do it on that too as well. You know, because this is his show, so I don't want to. I'm not trying to dictate anything
show.
that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So out of respect for you, Viral.
Do this.
Yeah, you right.
And
Let's just do this and do it now. You know, like no. But seriously, I was thinking like if you guys are down, that would be dope to get on a bigger call and be able to hear your voices and you know see your faces and actually you know share your insights too.
Yeah,
Directly with us in that way. I think that would be a great way to do it.
I would be interested in doing some future industry trauma bonding.
For
You
sure,
know,
for sure. That is
go
exactly
through
what
with
it is.
everybody.
Let's call it what it is, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. You know, again, we
Thank you,
appreciate you
Tyrone.
guys. Yeah, Tyrone, thanks for hitting with the sneak. Yeah, and everybody who joined here in the chat. For those new here, we do these Sundays every Sunday at 3 p.m.
And I am
Pacific
the one son.
Standard with I Am the One Son. And yeah, we'll be out here doing stuff, and we'll have a topic for next week, and you know, chat it up. And
Indeed,
yeah,
indeed.
appreciate you guys, and thanks again, son, for another awesome conversation. You know, these are always
Thank you, my brother.
good moments to have these conversations, especially now with all the stuff going on with the madness in the industry, being with all of our friends here, trying to work our way through the chaos. So appreciate you guys,
Yes,
every one of you
indeed.
guys. So
Everybody have a great week.
yep,
Okay?
make sure you
And
guys leave
be
a like
safe.
on the way out and all that other stuff too. So
Yeah,
and
definitely
friends
do
leave it
that.
too.
And if you guys get a chance, hit up Viral's merch store. Go grab a CD. That'd be great.
Take care, everybody.
All right, guys.
Love you
Take
guys.
care.
Until next time. See you guys later.
Peace, peace.
Peace, y'all.